I see myself sort of picking up the torch where this administration has taken the city. The issues remain the same. We've accomplished a great deal, but there are challenges that remain. But I will continue to work on the issues that I think are critically important to this community.
Well, good morning. Welcome back to Talking Racine. To my left, Mr. George Myers.
Morning.
To my right, Mr. Jim Spodek, our producer. I'm Dr. Ken Jorgen, your host, and this is the Passing the Torch episode. I think, as some of you remember, that was a famous quote, at least among us. When Corey Mason announced he was running for mayor, he mentioned that he felt like he was going to be sort of picking up the torch from the past administration. So...
Yeah, I mean, we've been interested in the election, and I don't think it's a big secret that we kind of favored what Sandy Weiner represented. We were going to douse that torch.
Yeah, she was in sync with our feelings about how government should run and operate.
Right. And let's not waste money on an arena, and let's get Machinery Row straightened out, and let's get the whole redevelopment authority straightened out. I mean, there were a lot of things that she talked about that we represented, that we saw as really legitimatizing government.
Fiscal responsibility was basically the watchword. That was the thing that we were most focused on.
And I think one thing to point out, too, she sparked a little dream, so to speak, in people, a little fire in their hearts, saying, because a lot of people like this idea.
Oh, geez, she was like a rock star walking around town. I mean, people would walk up to her and hug her. And,
that's one thing about Sandy. I mean, she did become very, very popular.
Yeah.
One of the things, though, she was educating people. I think that was one of the points that, when you looked at Corey's literature, I mean, it was just, I'm going to protect the middle class, and I'm going to, it's just slogans. Sandy actually put articles in, this is what I'm going to do, and this is how I'm going to do it. And I think that resonated with people.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to do, and this is the problem, and this is how I'm going to correct that problem.
Auditing the city finances was a big one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
including potentially a forensic audit.
Correct.
Which, in case you don't know what that means, a forensic audit means that you have people coming in who can analyze a situation and give legal testimony if necessary. And we're of the opinion that that's a real possibility with some of the things that have been spent money on. It's possible that...
we're going to get into that a little bit further in a couple other episodes, and there's some episodes that are coming up that are, pretty important episodes, and I think the community needs to know some of this stuff.
But the point at this point, at this stage of the game, is that those people that got the inspiration, the dream, the desire, aren't just ready to say, oh, well, we were 900 votes short, throw it out.
Right.
It's still there. And a lot of people, hundreds if not thousands of people, would still say, this was a possibility. And I don't think, it can eventually die out if you wait long enough, but otherwise it's there right now, and it's something that we want to see continue on. So we're not dropping it. We're not walking away from it because Corey Mason did whatever he did to win.
Well, it was an exciting campaign. I mean, people got energized, and when you look at what happened there, I really believe that Alderman Widener was ahead at some point in the campaign, and it was really just a couple of weeks before the election, and it seemed like sentiment was pretty strongly in her favor. And then all of a sudden, in fact, I spoke with her, and she said she noticed a change in people. She would go talking to people at their doors, and be very well received. And then it started to change, like the last couple of weeks before the election, and there was a lot of negative stuff being put out about her, and people were not responding as lovingly and openly as they had been previously. It was more of like, oh, well, thanks for stopping by.
But that's typical. That's typical. When you have a campaign that's losing, they go negative, and that's what it is. I mean, and they went negative. They went negative big time, and it does affect.
Well, there was an awful lot of money spent, too.
A lot of money, and then the Democrats called in the troops, man, because they knew they were in trouble. There were letters out there, and I went through and I looked at a lot of this stuff, and it was, help Corey, and you had Tammy Baldwin, you had the big Feingold, you had two or three.
They actually told the state virtually, Corey Mason needs help. Bring in the troops.
And they brought them in.
Yeah.
They brought in swarms of people to hit door to door and then throw out a negative connotation that she's a
You could say anything at the door.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. You get away with a lot.
I think one of the biggest things was accusing her of being a Republican, which isn't necessarily bad in itself, but if you're
But it
talking
wasn't
about
true.
a Democrat constituency, that can have a heavy impact.
Right.
And by the way, I'd like to point out that this is not the first time somebody's brought in
Their
a party thing. Jim Smith back in 1999 brought in Tommy Thompson to work for his campaign, and his opponent complained at the time. I don't know if he was a Democrat or not. Eichhorst, is that anything? Whatever. He complained that Jim Smith had turned it into a partisan election, and he says this is not a partisan election. So the Democrats as well as the Republicans have been guilty.
That's why I dislike both.
And by the way,
You're
speaking
an equal opportunity hater.
I hate them all.
yeah. So it's the thing is that can be effective. I think it was an effective tool.
Yeah,
And you couple
I
that
think it
with the
was.
knock and drag techniques, where the Democrats could get out a bunch of people, go to the doors, pull them out of their whatever they were doing. Come on, we're going down to the poll. We're going to vote for Corey. It's legitimate, but at the same time, Sandy had stronger local issues, real issues that people associated with, rather than just, well, she's a Democrat, he's a Democrat. And
Right. Well, that was a major thing. I am the Democrat. I mean,
that was on his
pushed
campaign
in,
literature.
yeah.
I
And
am
they
the
had
Democrat.
to, because they couldn't.
I'm the only Democrat in the race.
But he had to
right.
pull that base out. Racine is a Democratic community, and he had to pull that base out because he was not winning. He actually was not winning on the issues. He was not winning on popularity. I mean, the guy's kind of a dud when it comes to it, and he's tied to John Dicker.
Hey, he's the new mayor. Come on. You don't want to call him Mayor Dud, do you?
Let's just move on.
Here's the way I look at it. If Corey Mason had been limited to just his own resources, not be able to tap into the resources of the whole state Democratic Party. In fact, I understand he was on MSNBC. So to a
Well, he
degree,
wasn't, but
the
they were
national,
discussing. Yeah, they were discussing. The vice chair of the DNC was on MSNBC talking about the race in Racine, and they actually came to Racine and interviewed Democrats here, talking about this is a big race for.
It's a big thing, and that's the vice chair of the National Democratic
Absolutely,
Party, right?
yeah.
So
New
the
York
point
City.
is, but if he'd been limited to just his local resources and couldn't get money from outside of Racine, like Sandy did, Sandy would have walked all over him. He wouldn't have had a chance.
Right.
It was this additional resources. And the only thing I'm bringing this up is that for people that are concerned about how could she lose, well, she didn't lose really a popularity vote. She lost on a power vote.
Yeah.
It was power politics. And
They killed the puppy, George.
Yeah, no, not quite yet.
Puppy's still breathing?
Yeah,
Puppy's going to be a dog next time.
Pitbull.
we got at least 2,000 people, maybe as high as 4,000 people that were thinking and saying, "Hey, this is the type of government we want. Some legitimate government in there. Let's do that."
Right.
And so this is. There's something still there to work with.
Well, I'll tell you one of the more interesting things that I saw was on some of Corey's campaign literature. He talked about my opponent has nearly half of her donations from Tea Party donors and Scott Walker Republicans.
That was 40%.
Nearly half.
Yeah.
It was 40 to 45%, something like that. And right away I thought, well, that means that more than 50% is coming from progressives, Democrats, independents. Yeah. And that pretty much reflects the profile of the voter in Racine.
Here's someone that can bring both sides together.
Yeah, she was getting broad-based
We can really
support.
get something done, It's not just us
He had
versus
solid
them.
Democratic support, but it was not just the county Democratic Party, it was the state and even the national
Well,
party.
here, let's just move on from here and go to the 2 days later. You get an article in the paper about the arena. Now, Corey's... Because you got to remember...
You're talking about the headlines 2 days later.
2 days later. But you got to remember, now there's a club at City Hall. Now it's a tight-knit club. And some of these younger, older persons are looking to move up the ladder. They're not looking about the community. They're not worried about, what is better for the citizens of a community. They're worried about climbing that Democratic ladder. And this is a big coup. I'm in, I'm connected, and I can move up that ladder.
Yeah, well, interesting you should bring that up. Because I just
I threw you a softball. You should have.
Friday, yeah. I almost dropped it, but I got it. I sent out an email to all of the members of the City Council. And you're going to put it up on the screen there, right? Dear City Council member, the headline article in this morning's Journal Times, 10/20/2017, quotes Acting Mayor Weiser as saying, "As far as I am concerned, the project is still moving forward," in reference to the arena project. Inasmuch as public sentiment seems clearly opposed to this project and the newly elected mayor has pledged his opposition to it, what is your present position, and would you vote to override a veto if the mayor stands by his pledge to issue one? Please note that your response, whether it be yes or no response, will quite likely be reported publicly, and that's what's going on here right now.
Exactly.
And yet now, so what you just read there is what was sent to every alderman.
Every alderman, right.
Okay, every alderman got that letter.
Yeah.
From
Well,
the doctor.
I got 2 responses so far.
Okay.
You know, now I don't expect that everybody reads their emails every day out of the city email
And how long
box.
ago did those go up? Before the taping of the show?
They went out on the 20th. Today's, what is today, 23rd?
It's 22nd. We're taping it. It goes out 22nd.
Yeah, so I sent it on the 20th.
So it's been out 2 days, and that's been a weekend.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, we're looking for responses. But the 2 people that did respond, of course, Sandy Widener, who opposes public funding without a referendum. In other words, she's not necessarily opposed to the arena project, but she's opposed to public funding unless the public says, we want that. We want to spend our money on that.
Right.
Chances of that are what?
0.
0?
Close to, 0 or none, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
And I also got a response from Alderman Jason Meekma of the 14th Aldermanic District. He's an enthusiastic supporter of the arena, but he favors limited public funding. Now, there's like 10 points that the council has set out as benchmarks in order to qualify for public funding.
Right,
So,
okay. Yeah.
so he's, like I said,
It's a miracle that they'll be able to make those 10. I don't care if you got to climb Mount Everest. We got somebody up there. Don't worry, we got it covered.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a setup. It's been a setup. I highly, Corey Mason's going to make some feeble attempt at a veto. This is already in the cards, folks. This arena's already in the making. I mean, what really needs to be done is, what's being actually spent prior to this $600,000 they allocated for it. I mean, there's a lot of things that need to be asked here about this arena behind the scenes.
Just for kicks, why don't we rate these
Let's rate them.
the aldermen here? And George, you're good at this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe you could give them. I know you just saw a movie today that you thought was a 5-star movie. So why don't you rate these guys from 1 to 5 stars? All right.
Well, okay.
And,
As far as one being what?
One being total opposition to the arena. They're going to, deep 6 it if possible, and 5 is if that's an all-star. That's somebody that's really pushing hard for the arena and a champion of the arena.
Well.
1 to 5.
I'd say 1. See, when you're thinking stars, I'm an old Army guy, and I think of a star as a 1-star general. I mean, he's above all the lieutenants and colonels and everybody. So 1 star is pretty high. And I like for the first one, I give Jeff Coe a 1 star. Now that's not very high in the general, but he's a leader. He's been on the council a long time.
Oh yeah.
And I give him some altitude there, and he's been pushing for it, and he manages to run off challengers to his seat. So I'll give him.
I think I'm beginning to focus in on the problem here. Why the militarization of America?
Yeah.
You.
Jeff Cole becomes a 1-star general. Whoa, we got troubles.
I just look at them as the opposition force, and they got their leaders and they got their rankings.
Okay, now let's move to District 2. Molly Jones, no response, but she's voted for it. She seems kind of.
Yeah, if we go to 1 to 5, I put her like at a 3. If we get away from the stars now. Now we're down to the non-coms. He's a sergeant. She's maybe a private first class.
Oh, she's not even a general.
Spec 4.
Yeah. How about John Tate over in District 3?
Tate.
He's been allowed.
He's pushing him, man. He's getting some battlefield promotion. He's already up to sergeant, and he's just getting started. This guy really, really loves this arena. He loves this big machine going to the city hall.
Yeah. The higher I can climb, the better.
This is my game, man.
I don't know that he's a sergeant. I think he went to officer training school.
Yeah.
So
he could. That's right.
Probably a second lieutenant.
He could be up there. That's a good point. Yeah.
Tracy Laird, no response, but she's voted for it, and she seems to support building.
She's upper level sergeant. She's been around. She's probably a staff sergeant type of thing. She kind of keeps it quiet. Like staff.
Yeah.
She's not like your full blown sergeants. Who yell all the time. She's telling everybody what to do. she's kind of quiet behind the scenes, but
She'll
she goes along with the crowd.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever the commander says, and that's what we're going to do.
Well, now we got Steve Smetana. I didn't get a response from him, and his position is unclear now. He seems to have been a lukewarm opponent. Mm-hmm. I think he's voted against it at times.
He's looking over at the rebel army.
Yeah, well, I think Steve is
getting harder and harder to look at this and say, "Oh, geez, I don't know what I got to do
I
here."
think Steve is an independent thinker, basically.
Yeah, I think Steve. Steve has been in opposition to the arena because of his constituency. I don't know what he thinks about it financially. Maybe he's got more to say about that. Where that's the way I'm looking at the arena.
Yeah.
It's not because I don't like the arena. It's because it's a phony issue. It's not going to bring any money. It's not going to. All it's going to do is run up our debt.
Huge debt.
In light with what that movie we just talked about. Where Wall Street's got to love this because the city's going into another $55 million.
All right, let's not stray off into a movie review here.
No, I know, but I'm just saying.
How about Ray DeHaan? He didn't respond, but he's voted for it and he supports building it. And
Ray's been around too long. I give him a 1 star. He's the leader.
Oh, yeah,
he's been around a long time. He's
1-star general retired.
1-star general, yeah.
Yeah,
Not exactly retired.
Sleepy.
Looking at it. But wait a minute. He fought back. He fought back from a near loss and a write-in candidate.
Yeah.
So
amazing how that worked. Rebecca Mason was the attorney on that.
Oh, is that who?
Magically, they get 15 more votes. I mean, oh my God. That was just like, oh my God.
Your secret ballot box?
Yeah, it was
manufactured 12 votes.
Look what's blowing down the street. That's a ballot. Oh my God. When I read, I saw that one. I predicted that one ahead of time, by the way. But anyway, keep going.
Q.A. Shakur in District 8.
Yeah.
He's voted for it and he supports building it. And how many stars does he get?
He gets another star just for dress, just for appearance. he wears excellent clothing.
I did hear him say, we got to stop the
car.
opioids and the arena's going to do it.
Yeah.
Hey, this guy can go that far?
I give him a 2 star.
2 stars and a campaign ribbon, you think?
Definitely. I mean, I like his straw hat. He's just very... And when he announces, the way he announces his reports at the end of the, at the thing, it just,
He's a gentleman in every respect.
He's on his way to 3. But
I mean, the BS just smooth.
Oh,
it's smooth.
It's
smooth.
It's so good.
Very smooth.
It is. It's like satin. Now we've got Terry McCarthy. I wouldn't accuse him of being satin-like. More like burlap.
Yeah.
No, he's pushed for the building of this.
Yeah, he's at least a 2 star. I would put him at 3. Yeah, no,
3.
He's in the lead when
no
it comes
connection to Racine whatsoever. It doesn't work here. His wife doesn't work. No, there's absolutely no connection to Racine. But I can blow your money. I can take your money and I can pile it up on something else.
And tell you that I'm doing the best thing for you.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Totally out of touch.
Yeah.
Well, now we've got District 10 and the acting mayor, Dennis Weiser, interim mayor. I mean, he's determined to build it. This is the guy that wrote that was quoted in the newspaper.
How popular is he?
Oh yeah, people. His constituency loves him.
It's a love fest.
Oh my God!
No,
this guy couldn't run for dog catcher when he gets out of this position.
It's going to be real interesting. Yeah. He needs some opposition. He keeps running unopposed.
How many stars?
4.
4.
4. Yeah.
We're getting up there.
Yeah, he's right up there. If he was elected in that position, it'd be 5. It'd be the full 5. The cluster.
Now we got somebody in the Women's Army Corps here, Mary Land, over in District 11.
Mary Land, I get, and she's new. She faced an election.
Yeah, not
a re-election.
Nobody ran against her.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean,
she's relatively quiet. Get along.
Not real
along.
sharp.
Yeah.
Really sharp.
What district? Who was in that district before? Was that Helding's district?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Helding is, I'm sure they're all connected.
Oh,
this is a club. It's a club, dude.
I'm sure Greg loves the arena.
Oh, I'm
you
sure
love the arena, Greg?
Yeah. Super-sized seats. Very nice.
Why doesn't let us know, Greg?
Henry Perez, position unclear. Henry kind of waffles back and forth. I can't get a read on him if he's in favor of it and not in favor of it.
I can't.
What his motivations are.
Whatever position he takes, it'll come out strong. I will say about that, Henry. He's very well spoken, and when he makes a decision and takes a position, he comes out and he supports it very well, just in his tone and in his voice and just his intention. So I really
maybe a 1-star general on furlough.
That type of thing. Yeah, I just would really hope that he chooses the right direction and just look at it for factually instead of politically, and he could become a real weapon on our side, a real leader on the side that's going to bring about legitimacy in government instead of all this politicizing and mayhem that's going on with the finances.
Lucky 13, James Morganroth. No response, but he's been persistently pushing this project.
He has.
He's the one with the famous quote, "Build it and they will come."
Yeah.
I think he was thinking about a cornfield and a baseball diamond, but he was applying it to the arena downtown.
The other great one was on the referendum, where we would be just abrogating our responsibility, giving it over to the people to make the decision.
Don't want to do that.
Oh my God! No. Did he actually say that? I missed that one.
Not in those words, but
I've seen that 2 or 3 of them talking about that.
Yeah,
I think Tate talked like that. Meekma talked like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're the ones that have to make the decision.
I don't know anything, but I'm going to make a decision for you.
You're going to make my.
We can't pass it
Jason's
on to
up
people
next.
to have that. What is this? A democracy or something? Go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, I'm done with Jim. He's quite the character.
We're moving on to Jason then, who's been an enthusiastic supporter, but he hasn't said whether he would vote for it or against it. He favors limited funding, but
it's oozing out of him, for crying out loud. He can't keep himself in his own shoes.
Well, he says he would vote no if they don't meet the criteria.
Bull crap.
How many stars?
You're not buying that, huh? Again, beginner. He's non-com. In the sergeant level, though, he is taking an active support in it.
Yeah.
He's not like Molly or Terry or Tracy, that is kind of in the background. Supporting it, but in the background.
Yeah.
He's up there looking for leadership. Was he one? He was going to run for council president.
I think there was talk of it.
He mentioned it at one point.
Yeah.
Somebody did.
These guys got the egos.
The point is his name came up and he hadn't even fulfilled one term yet.
Yeah.
So that puts him up there really aggressively pursuing this leadership role.
Kind of looks like Abe Lincoln.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
At least tall and slender.
tall and scrawny. Yeah. Yep.
And finally, as city council goes, we've got Melissa Lemke, who has actually opposed the arena project.
Yes, she came out right at the start. Mm-hmm. She's done her studies. She was cut off by the mayor. We don't want to be quoting any studies in this time. Right. We're not concerned with facts. We just want you to ask questions about our PowerPoint presentation.
Mm-hmm. Too bad she's so tied in with the Democrats. I actually kind of like Melissa. I think she's actually does some thinking. Some
I agree with
thinking.
You on that totally.
Yeah.
I think you see it comes up a little bit, but I think she looks around and says, "Whoa, this is a little bit." I don't see
it's
Democrats up here and
it's
down back down.
DNC
thing, you got to toe this line. You toe this line.
Yeah.
I mean, Bernie Sanders was the opposite of it. And look what happened to Bernie and all the rest of it.
That's right.
And I think Melissa falls in that Bernie category a little bit, but I don't think she's got the strength to pull out of it. But whatever.
We'll see.
And to quote a famous person, I would be remiss not to mention Mayor-elect Corey Mason.
Oh.
Who I didn't even contact him because he's made a strong statement. He formerly supported the arena, now states strong opposition and promises to convince the council to vote no. I mean, it's one of his campaign promises.
I understand that. I'm going to say this, and I want to qualify my statement too. So give me a chance when I get done with saying this. I don't believe you, Corey. Now. That doesn't mean I'm accusing you of being a liar, Corey. It just says I don't believe you. It's like somebody that says the Green Bay is going to win next weekend, and I say I don't believe you. That doesn't make you a liar. See, it just makes you that I just don't believe you. I think Green Bay is going to lose, type of thing. That's just an example. Corey says he will oppose the arena. It's not going to happen. That's a future prediction. I can't call him a liar for that. I just say I don't believe you. I don't believe you're really going to try and do that. And I don't think you really put it in earnest. I don't think you're going to bring in the forces you did to win this election. You're not going to bring in that type of forces and that type of influence and that type of manpower and money and whatever it takes to defeat this arena. You won't do it. You will ride the boat through, and it'll just go through.
One of the things, George, that you just got to spark something was that the difference between the two campaigns. Sandy went right to the people. She went into the newspaper. She went to the door. She went right to the people, and at all times, whatever the people want, whatever a referendum, she was more than willing to put that on the table.
She accepted her role
Corey
as a representative
does exactly the opposite. So I look like, and she actually forced that arena on Corey. Corey had to take ownership of that. He was never going to come out and say it. He had to come out and say, I'm against the arena. Because he did polling, and that polling said, you're never going to win this if you're going out against that arena, because she will eat you alive. So he came out.
He's never going to win if he comes out for the arena.
Right, for the arena.
Well, he's made the promise now.
Well,
so,
he's virtually guaranteed on one of his campaign pieces of literature it's not going to happen.
But he will never back. He'll put a veto out there. How strong it'll be. I mean, he really has boxed himself into a corner.
Yeah.
And we'll see where this all goes.
With all the people that he surrounds himself with, people that supported the arena. I remember one of his supporters got up at the council and called it emotional terrorism, something like that, to be opposing the arena.
Yeah.
You know? You know, I mean, that was her intense desire to see that arena go forward. Well, she was in his entourage.
That was Fiona Murphy, right?
Yeah. Well, you want to mention it? That's fine. I was going to. The thing is that this is what his support is like, and I don't see him denying all his support.
You got to remember, this
everything
is a club. You are
Yeah.
in this DNC now. You're in this Democratic Party, and there's no deviating from that. We're going to move you up. We're going to pick out who's the next. I mean, Corey was picked to be the mayor, you know, because John Dickert was.
Right.
They had him set up to be governor.
He was picked to carry the torch.
He was picked to carry the torch. And
well, now that he's got the torch, he should be able to control the council the way Dickert did. I mean, Dickert very heavily influenced the council to support this.
They don't have the strength. First off, now you've got a mayor and a municipal judge. You've got two. I mean, it's almost like Camelot, you know. I mean, this is now you've got this complete.
Yeah, it's a family thing now
between
the judicial branch and the executive branch.
And that's a very dangerous place to be. And you've got a common council who is extremely weak. I mean, and actually bought and paid for really in a lot of ways with the Democratic Party. If you want to move up the ladder, I mean, you're going to have to toe the line with us, and this is how it's going to be done.
Well, if they towed the line, then they weren't going to be set up by Dickert with some opposition to try and get you out.
Exactly.
That's to that extent, it bought and paid for. But we'll see now if Corey's going to carry on that tradition. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if he does. I mean, it's what goes on with that party. Yeah.
Here is your opportunity as voters to support the new mayor, who said that the arena project is dead. Here's put this one up on the screen, will you? Okay, these are the aldermanic districts that are up for election in 2018. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, all the even-numbered districts. Molly Jones in District 2. She's kind of lukewarm support. Tracy Laren, a little stronger support. Sandy Widener, we're not sure that she's interested in running again, but that district has been represented by somebody who up until this point says no public funding unless the taxpayers vote to fund it. District 8, Kiwa Shiakur has voted for the arena and spoken in support. District 10, Dennis Weisner, the acting mayor, has pushed hard to build this. Henry Perez, we're not completely sure on. Jason Meekma's an enthusiastic supporter. So these are the districts that if you want to help your mayor, you know, and support him in his quest to get this arena off the table, you may want to consider getting active in these districts where there are people who are already committed to voting for the arena. It would be a big help to the mayor if you convince them or replace them with people who are opposed to the arena. Assuming you are. Most people are. I am.
I'd just like to say one thing about that.
I shouldn't say I am. Let me just say I think it is a great idea. If somebody wants to come in and spend their money and build that arena, beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not a taxpayer project.
That's the way it kind of started off.
Not a taxpayer project.
No, it's not a taxpayer project. And if you're interested in running for council, I really recommend you do it. If you're interested in bringing about a legitimate form of government, you bring about some responsibility and that type of thing. And the other thing I want to bring out too is I've run into a couple people. They were a little concerned about, well, I haven't led a perfect life. Let's put it that way. And yeah, okay, we all might have a little something, where we made a mistake in the past. And we talked about Jim Smith a little earlier on here. Do you realize Jim Smith was elected to be mayor of the council, and he, at that time, was a convicted felon? But he still, and when it came out, it was discovered that he was a convicted felon. Well, that's when he brought Tommy Thompson down, gave him his famous Christmas present and his pardon.
Yeah.
And then people turned around and reelected him. So all I'm saying is that this little thing, that whatever it might be, don't worry about it. You know, if you're not a convicted felon, well, first of all, if you are a convicted felon, you can get a pardon.
Yeah, just call
Walker.
Yeah, if they were Republican.
Pardons are us.
We'll
I
get
think
to
they
it.
have a phone number.
Yeah,
up there.
but if it's not, just go ahead and run. If you run into the issues, people will pay attention to that. They're not going to get drawn off into some little obscure thing in your life that bothers you and doesn't bother anybody else.
Right.
So I just want to bring that up. The only reason I'm bringing it out because I've run into a couple people that had that consideration. You know, I can't run because of blah, blah, blah. I have baloney. You can't run. Get out there and run.
In this town, if we're crying out loud, if you got a little criminal background, it actually helps.
Yeah, you're part of the party.
It's
I'm not talking about the political party. I'm talking about the party on the pavement.
He gets that mindset. Look what we got. I mean, he actually hunted the country looking for him.
Well, let's not encourage criminals to run. Let's just say that if you have a criminal past, it's a past.
Yeah.
And then now you're a legitimate citizen. You know,
No,
step
I
up.
agree.
Especially if you've kind of taken a poll, informal or whatever, and you find that the positions that you have are pretty much in sync with the people of your district. Step up and represent them. You know, that's the way this is supposed to work.
And remember too, the mayor's position is very important, and we all wanted to see, a lot of us, not a majority of us, but a lot of us wanted to see Sandy in there for the reasons spoken. But remember, it's the council that is the governing body. So if we can accomplish a lot of the same goals, it'll be a much more difficult path, much rockier road to do it with a Corey Mason type of mayor. But nevertheless, it still can be done through the council. So let's get out there if you're interested in running and you want to see some changes out there, let's talk about you running for a member
Well,
of
a
the council.
preview of coming attractions.
Yes, okay.
There is an organization forming for training people about the function of government and about the proper role of aldermen
Correct.
and other elected representatives.
Yes. Oh, that's a good idea.
It's kind of like an advanced civics class for people who have been out of high school for a while. And you can learn about how your government is supposed to work and decide for yourself if you think you can fit in there.
I see some of these new aldermen, the first time they're on the council floor practically is after they've been elected. And they sit down in that council
Right.
and they have no idea. They don't even know they're sitting in the governing body. They're part of that. They have
Right.
no
Yeah.
idea
Well, it's
what the relationship is.
Yeah.
And this class, which is probably going to be free. You
Yeah,
know how
it's
to
free.
Oh, yeah.
Is it free? All right.
And we'll let you guys know about it when it takes
Yeah.
place.
So that will you will go in and you will understand what's going on in government. You won't have to listen to Talking Racine to find out anymore. You'll be part of it. We'll be talking about you.
Oh, good.
But at any rate,
It's supposed to be encouraging. George.
We probably didn't sell him real well in that.
Now we say nice things about Sandy. So yeah.
All right, now that we've scared everybody, maybe it was a good time to close the show. Huh? What do you think?
On a scary note, yeah, well,
That's Halloween.
Well, Halloween's
coming up. Yeah, what the heck? Where's my mask?
So, you all have a good day, and we'll
Yep.
see you next week. Thanks for being here.